Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to call the December 12th meeting of the Common Council to order. I'm going to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Stefanski.
Here.
Turner.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Keen. Here. Lysick.
Here.
10 present.
We have a quorum. Please rise if you are able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Alderperson Reinke. Thank you. Moving on to Section D, we have two public hearings this evening, and I will ask the clerk to read public hearing number 1.
Conditional use permit for bars and recreation, a proposed recreation, indoor, and tavern use at 6325 West National Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Scher, when you're ready.
Thanks, Mayor. My name is Steve Scher. I'm the manager of planning and zoning, and the first hearing is for building at 63rd and National, which used to be Castech. For the past 72 years, it's been in light industrial in nature. Started out as an auto repair and auto service facility, and then later, probably for the past 40 or 50 years, as Castech. For the past 2 years, it's been empty. And then in 2022, Bars and Rec, a company, purchased it with the intent of doing an indoor recreational facility at this location. Just south of National Avenue between 63rd and 64th Streets, the farmers market is very, very close by, as you can see on the aerial image here, the red roof. The Bars and Rec is a number of activity bars ranging from, as you can see on the bottom, of the different brands and themes that they have on the fashionable east side of Milwaukee. They want to bring their craft here to the fashionable east side of West Dallas, 63rd National. But it's an activity bar offering immersive experiences, cutting-edge activities, creative drinks, and customer service, what they pride themselves upon. As I said, it's former industrial use, the new ownership in 2022, and then per their liquor license, 60% entertainment, 25% bar, 10% food, 5% retail. And the zoning is C3, which prompts a conditional use in a public hearing, as we're here tonight. They hope to open in the spring of 2024. The typical hours are going to be 5 to 7 days a week. They're probably going to start out with a 5-day-a-week format, and then if things are moving more successful per demand, they would go to a 7-day-a-week format, 4 p.m. to midnight on weeknights, and then 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. on weekends. The Class B license was granted for this premise, and it is a cashless operation. They do feature security cameras throughout all their properties. They do have a contracted waste hauler. They will offer also custom events, which will be booked by appointment, any date or any time within the public hours noted here. That's important because when you think of the attraction and the economic development that's created, with team building events, corporate events, different parties, and so on, the hosts of the facility also program and pair and build out events not only at their facility but also pair that with nearby amenities and attractions, other businesses within the area, such as hotels and brewery visits and so on, food and other restaurants. So it's catalytic for the neighborhood, especially along the National Avenue corridor. The staffing, they're going to have 15 on-site jobs, and including a full-time on-site manager. The floor plan shown here is showing the front National Avenue side is on the right-hand side of your screen. It's about a 12,600 square foot building, which includes the mezzanine on the second floor. But you can see the front entrance lobby, the bar area, which will also feature a merchandise area. There are 5 women's toilets and 3 men's toilets within the facility. And then the main entertainment area, the rec area, is towards the south end of the building, basically the south half of the building, where you'll have 12 lanes, about 2 persons per lane, and then there'll be another passive area here for people on teams or just other groups to sort of hang out, lounge, and watch the activity within this area. And this is just the mezzanine area, which will overlook the lower level, the bar area down below. And the mezzanine area features a capacity of up to about 49 people, for events and so on. It will have an office and a break room also upstairs. The building fronts National Avenue, so it's pedestrian orientated, features 14 on-site parking stalls on the east and west sides of the building. There's going to be 4 bike racks on the site as well. It'll be landscaped along the front perimeter of National Avenue and 64th Street. There'll also be a refuse area on the within the east parking lot on the southeast corner. It'll be a 4-sided enclosure. On the west side, this is the current look of the west parking lot, where you will have 6 parking stalls in the future, including 1 accessible van stall, and then just the lower picture of the image of current conditions. And then the east parking lot will feature 8 parking stalls and just a sort of an existing view of what that looks like today. There will be a new wrought iron metal style fence that will surround the perimeter of the site on the east parking lot, in the east and south elevations of that property line. The guardrail that's there today will be removed and replaced with that metal fence. They're also going to be shoring up that retaining wall there and improving that as needed. In terms of parking, while the overall site offers 14 parking stalls, there are a number of different other opportunities for parking within 1,000 feet or less than a 5-minute walk of the property. And this just is a quick little view of what that looks like. Within a 1/10 of a mile or a 2-minute walk, you have this amount of parking, and then further out, less than a 5-minute walk. In total, you have about 250 spaces within that short distance. So this is just factoring in about a 20-minute per mile pace. So, fairly slow. So it's sort of a casual walk up, and it doesn't really take that long. So in the urban core of the city, we have to think of things. If we were to promote parking for every use on the east side of the city, it wouldn't be as dense as it is today. It would be much more sprawled and spread out. And the attraction of the east side of the city is the fact that there isn't as much parking, and it is more dense, it is more congested, so to speak, and with that congestion comes the attraction and the amenity of the urban center, what we call the 6 Points Farmers Market neighborhood. Just the architecture, they're going to take the existing blue and white theme and go to more of a green earth tone theme. The windows will be replaced with new energy efficient windows. New signage will be installed on the front marquee of the building, and there will also be a cementitious Nichiha material on the main entrance area. It's this lighter brown color here. The same thing goes on the other elevations. This is on the east side of the building, the windows being replaced. And then on the rear of the building, the existing windows that were there for Castech will be infilled with block and then repainted for a solid wall. So staff is recommending approval and that it be referred to the Planning Commission on December 14th. Class 2 notice has been served within the official paper. We received no objections to date, and just to note that this plan does align quite well with our National Avenue Corridor Plan, basically, which recommended physical improvements, which we've most recently over the past summer have seen with the reconstruction of National Avenue in this area. You can thank the engineering department for their foresight and hard work in getting that done, complete, and back open. And then the other portion of the goal along the National Avenue Corridor is to create destinations throughout the corridor rather than just the pass-through type of experience that we may have realized in the past. So thanks. Any questions? Happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions from the members of the council on public hearing number 1?
Mayor Devine.
Alderperson Ranky.
Thank you. This is a totally new concept for our city, I would have to say. Interesting. The people that are interested in the property, are they leasing or did they purchase the property?
Purchased the property in the spring of 22. Yeah. Last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the food, 10%, I believe it was.
That's
quoted
correct.
as.
Yeah.
What kind of food do they plan on?
Snacks, sweet charcuterie, everything from charcuterie to cheese, sausage, the sort of lighter snacks, that type of fare.
Okay. So it's mostly geared towards entertainment, it sounds like?
That's correct, yep. Yep,
Thank you, Steve.
sure.
Thank you. Any other questions from the Common Council on public hearing number 1? Seeing none, are there any members of the audience with questions on public hearing number 1? Okay, we will close our first public hearing, and I will ask clerk to read public hearing number 2.
Conditional use permit for Las Cazuelas Chilaquiles and Taco Bar, a proposed restaurant at 6738 West Greenfield.
Thank
Mr. Sheriff.
Thank you, Mayor. Las Cazuelas is a proposed Mexican restaurant in the former Cousins space at 6738 Greenfield Avenue. And Cousins, a few years ago, relocated to a freestanding location at 65th and Greenfield. This space became empty, and it's been that way for the past few years. Las Cazuelas is interested in moving in. It's about a 2,500 square foot space. They'll offer dine-in and also in the future an outdoor dining space outside the building as well. The property is zone C3 commercial, and that prompts a conditional use when we have restaurants that are greater than 2,000 square feet in area with certain hours. The menu will focus on the chilaquiles, but also offer tacos, burros, chimichangas, soups, a variety of sauces, and desserts. They'll have 12 employees and their staff. The hours of operation from Sunday to Thursday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to midnight, and they hope to open in the spring of 2024. The proposed floor plan is shown here. Primarily, most of the improvements here, you're not going to see a lot of site or landscaping, architectural exterior improvements. All of the hard work's going to be done inside the building to remodel it from a Cousins to, Las Cazuelas. So primarily all interior remodel. It'll be a full-service restaurant, the expected capacity up to about 99 people. And we recommend referring this to the Planning Commission on December 14th, and it has been properly noticed. No objections to date. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions from the Common Council on public hearing number 2?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel.
Steve, I noticed on the floor plan that shows a bar, but we're not talking about that. I mean, they're applying for a Class B?
Yes.
Okay, so, but we're not taking that up right now, but.
Correct, right.
Okay, but I just want to look, I was just wondering if they're.
They will, yeah, it'll feature, the beer and margaritas,
Okay.
yeah, so that'll require Class B.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the council on public hearing number 2? Okay, seeing none, are there any members of the audience with questions on public hearing number 2? Okay, we will close our second public hearing. We will move on to item E on our agendas, citizen participation. The council may receive info from members of the public during this 30-minute period. Each speaker must announce to the council their name and address, sign in at the podium, and limit their comments to one statement of no more than 5 minutes. The council cannot take actions on the topics raised by the speakers and will not discuss topics with the speakers. Does anybody wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
My name is Emily Nye. I live at 1565 South 56th Street, which is the West Alice side of 56th Street. In November, my car was hit and totaled 2 blocks east of my house on 54th and Lapham by a woman with no license and no insurance. She blew the stop sign going about 30 miles an hour. And when her vehicle came to a stop, she ended up on what turned out to be an empty lot. Otherwise, she could have ended up going through someone's house. I bumped my head, but I wasn't injured, and neither was she. But then last week, just 2 blocks east, which happens to be the street that I live on, there was another accident. It was the same situation. Someone blowing the stop sign, this time on 56 instead of 54th. And they hit a car that ended up going through my neighbor's fence and ended up in their backyard. This neighborhood has a lot of
Okay. All right. There's kids that are walking over to the elementary school, Horace Mann. There's also the middle school in West Milwaukee that's right up National. So there's kids walking all the time. We're not far from where the farmers market is and where Kegel's, the beer garden, is. So you have people walking all the time, especially with these double blocks with, 56th Street, 54th, they're long. People go 30 down there, I understand that driving penalties for people who don't have insurance, don't have a license, that's beyond your scope. But I do want to draw attention that these two recent examples of reckless driving occur daily in our neighborhood. And it's only a matter of time before somebody is injured or worse, killed. These two accidents caused easily $100,000 in property damage. And they're what? I don't know, few yards from each other. Before someone is seriously hurt or killed, I urge the council to explore options to remedy the excess speed in these double blocks. This might look like temporary or permanent speed bumps. I do know that there are a few speed bumps in West Milwaukee, a few blocks east of this area. It might look like more patrols in the area, flags on top of the stop signs, ensuring that trees and other brush are trimmed around stop signs so they're visible to drivers. I urge you to reach out to our friends in West Milwaukee to come up with a real solution to keep people safe. And I think you guys can do this without spending a lot of money. I don't want to wait. I don't want to see my neighbor get hit by a car. I don't want to see a house end up in my neighbor's living room. And we've seen that on news reports of stuff happening in other parts of Milwaukee. I don't want to see that happen here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Does anybody else wish to address the council under citizen participation?
To the mayor and members of the Common Council, we are here again today to ask for one simple thing.
I'm sorry, can you give us your name? We know you, but can we have your name and address?
You do know me at this point.
Thank you.
Patty Novak, 9730 West Montana.
Thanks.
Sorry. Okay, to the Common Council, we're here again today to ask for one simple thing, that you please vote to pass the permit that would allow us to continue doing what we have done for many years at Novak Manor with our continued commitment to safety in our community. We're not naive to think that everyone loves our event or Halloween as much as we do. But what we do know, however, is that in 2022, 8,000 people enjoyed Novak Manor and 9,000 people in 2023. We know that thousands have reached out in dismay and sadness at the possibility of us not being able to continue. Hundreds have written emails, made calls, posted yard signs, all supporting our event continuing. Dozens of news media outlets have also reached out to support us and continue to reach out for follow-up. We are asking for your support as well so we can continue to make this a West Allis tradition for so many. As for the dreaded Candy Cane Lane comparison, I have no option but to compare, as many of the concerns by the aldermen are outside of the scope of the permit we are asking for. First, I know if you go door to door and you ask the neighbors, some will tell me that they don't love the traffic, noise, crowds, or disruption of the peace and quiet that Candy Cane Lane can also bring. I can imagine that is true for any event that takes place anywhere. My guess would be that 90% of people that go to any event follow the rules, read the signs, and listen to and adhere to them. However, there are going to be some that don't, and event creators and the police will step in and stop it when they see it, but unfortunately, you cannot see everything. These 100 photos that I have with me, I have from the past few weeks of illegal, inappropriate, or disrupting activities in Candy Cane Lane this year. It just goes to prove that point exactly. Photos of litter, cars without headlights, children sitting on top of moving driving vehicles, extremely congested traffic, and of course, illegally parked cars. Regardless of these things, Candy Cane Lane is still an amazing event that does great things for the city, the MAC Fund, and is a tradition for so many local residents and beyond, as is Novak Manor. It is also an event that has full support from the city, and we hope we can get the same. We are simply asking that when things like parking and crowds, etc., are being taken into consideration for our event, you understand that they happen at every event, and that does not make them bad. Many people have asked me why we're fighting to keep it here. It's simple. My husband and I have built our family together for 23 years in this city. It's the place we call home, and we have been lucky enough to build a tradition for so many other people who call this city home and beyond. We want to keep this tradition going, and we hope the city will work with us to do so. We have spoken of the many charities that we have been able to donate to, and we want to continue to donate, especially locally, because that's what we believe in, and we believe our world and our city could use more of. Thank you for listening, and I hope we can work together in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the council under citizen participation?
Hello, my name is Jamie Donald, 1423 Greenway Terrace in Waukesha. I'm here today to support Novak Manor, as many of us are. I really appreciate you all listening to us. I'm not going to go through all of the great, wonderful things that Novak Manor has done. They provided that for you. They've given you binders. We've all talked. We've sent emails. We can't do anything else other than plead our case. I do want to say that tonight you guys are here. You have a job. This is your job that you chose to do, to make decisions for our city and do that. However, it is a Tuesday night in the middle of Christmas season. Can I have everyone that's here to support Novak Manor please stand? All of these people are here tonight to support something that means so much to them. Novak Manor has touched all of these people in one way or another, and it goes beyond words. It's more than an email. It's more than just telling you a story. It matters from the bottom of our hearts, and we're hoping that tonight this permit gets passed and you guys can see the good, because I can't see any bad in Novak Manor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening? Okay, we will close citizen participation. Thank you, everybody. And we will move on to item F. Our standing committees will be meeting during recess. If you are here for a license or a permit, or are scheduled to appear in front of a committee, please pay attention to the top of page 2 on your agendas, or see one of us when we break for recess, and we'll make sure that you get into the correct room. Moving on to item G, the mayor's report. I just have 2 quick things. I want to take a minute to thank everybody on the parade committee and the sponsors of the Christmas parade and the tree lighting and all of the school groups for performing out on the plaza here. It was a nice night. It was a well-attended parade, and I think it was a great evening for the community. I also want to mention Festival Foods was the big sponsor for the event. We appreciate their partnership as well. And also Alderman Rote and I this week had a swearing-in ceremony for 6 new police officers for the West Allis Police Department. And I just want to once again welcome them and let them know that they have our support. And we wish them a long and successful career with our city. That does conclude the mayor's report this evening. Do we have any reports from the alderpersons?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel.
With my upcoming relocation out of the 2nd District, I will not be able to represent the 2nd District in the next term. And so along with that, I put in my letter, my notice of incumbent elected officials need to let the public know that they're not going to run a little bit earlier than everybody else. So there will be a vacancy in the 2nd District in the city of West Allis in the spring election. If anyone is interested in running for alderman in the 2nd District, now is the time to act, because you need to circulate your nomination papers. I know at least one other party is interested in sitting in this seat starting in April. I just wanted to let everybody know that if you're thinking about it, you can find out very easily online what's entailed in it, or you could reach out to me, or I assume Alderman Stefanski, or the mayor, or any of our staff. I just wanted everybody to know that if you're thinking about being an alderman, there will be an open seat here, which is, it's much easier to get put into an open seat than bumping one of us incumbents off. I also understand there's at least possibly two other aldermen that will not be running in the spring, and I'll let them share that news if it's up to them. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. So I will not be representing the 2nd District in the next term in April. So, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Thanks for the years with the 2nd District. I know we'll have more time to celebrate your accomplishments, but short term, thank you.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Lysick.
I too have filed my papers of non-running for alderman in the 4th District. And this is the time when all of the council and the mayor are up for re-election. So anybody that's interested in running for any of the seats, you have the next couple of weeks to get your nomination papers, get the number of signatures, and turn them into the clerk's office. This used to be advertised well in the paper years ago. We had a West paper that was taken over by the Journal Sentinel, and they had a community paper that would at least somewhat follow what we did. Now there is no publicity at all for West Allis as far as our local news, which is terrible. So the only way we have to let you know is by social media or announcing things at the council meeting. So I think Alderman Vitale also has something to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Lysick.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the fact that Alderman Weigel, he kind of put me on the spot. That's fine. That's good. So I've been on the council for 36 years in April. So time came to determine that it's time for me to leave all the good people, you know, the past members of the city here, you know, the staffs, many people that I ran throughout the years. They all were great people, and still we continue to have a good staff, you know, start from our city administrator, Rebecca Grill, finance department, and everything else, really. They're doing a great job for the welfare of our community, really. They've done, or they keep doing a great job. The new people we have at this time, I said it before, we have a hell of a good staff. But anyway, so everybody else, Alderman Weigel and Lysick mentioned about that I, just as well that I'm not, of course, running in April, so I leave open the first aldermanic district after 36 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Vitale. And that goes without saying, I also want to thank Alderman Lysick and Alderman Vitale for their years of service for the community. It's been through a lot, seen a lot.
Thank you.
Any other alderpersons' reports this evening?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of November 14th, 2023.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there any corrections or changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Moving to item J, we have no standing committee reports this evening, so we will move to item K.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Lysick.
First of all, is there any item that any of the council members would like acted upon separately under item K? Seeing none, I would then move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. If there is no discussion, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Reinke. Rote.
Aye.
Stefanski.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham. Aye. Haas.
Aye.
Keen. Aye. Lysick.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We are in recess.